everyone, this is Catherine O'Connell and welcome to Lawyer on Air. If you are looking for inspirational stories about women in law, then this is the podcast for you. Join me and my lawyer ladies as we enjoy a glass of wine after a hard day at work and talk about the world of women in law. It's my passion to share stories of amazing legal ladies who are working as in-house legal counsel, who have law firm roles, who are leading on boards, and who are doing law differently. From time to time, I will also invite special guests on the show to share their insights on legal recruiting and tips for getting hired as a successful lawyer in Japan. I hope you will enjoy getting to know these amazing women who I am so proud to share a profession with. I'm glad you're here and I hope you enjoy the show. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Lawyer on Air podcast. In this episode, I share with you another diverse story of a woman lawyer working in Japan. I'm Catherine, the host of the show, and I'm a lawyer based in Tokyo for more than 20 years, and I love helping unlock the wisdom of the stories that women lawyers never tell. When I asked my guest today if she was to go back in time to start her career, what advice she would give to herself based on what she knows now, she said this: "Your career is so long, longer than you have expected. Do not rush, but you should develop yourself. It only takes a few minutes every day, but you should keep going forward. Don't be afraid of changes. Any kind of change will help you." Well, my guest today is Yuko Kaneko, who is a Director and Corporate Counsel of the Business Legal Department of Renesas Electronic Corporation. She graduated from Tokyo University and started her career as an attorney at law at Nishimura Asahi. She then changed her career path, switching to become an in-house legal counsel, and she's never looked back. She's driven to improve herself and also received an LLM from the Florida Coastal School of Law through e-learning whilst raising 3 daughters. She's a member of the Bulletin Committee of the Daiichi Tokyo Bar Association, volunteers for women in law in Japan, and in her spare time she loves getting involved in her many sporting and cultural hobbies. On this episode, Yuko shares her motto, and that is seizing opportunities. She is so committed to being a lifelong learner and always finding the opportunity to do something new in her work and in her personal life. She also shares her tips for lawyers wanting to be an in-house legal counsel and the skills that they need to master. You'll also hear how Yuko managed to switch from private practice to in-house and what she realized afterwards are the most important things to prepare for becoming such a lawyer inside a business organization. And Yuko also shares her favorite saying that guides her, the book that she would love to write, and some other fun facts. I'm very pleased to bring you Yuko Kaneko as my guest today. Let's get into it. Hello, Yuko, and welcome to the show.
Hello, Catherine. Good to meet you.
Yes, we've known each other for so long, but it's really fabulous to actually finally have you on the podcast. I'm so pleased.
Yeah, I'm very looking forward to this time.
Great. I love that enthusiasm. So I always ask everyone the same opening question. If we were meeting up in person, where would we be? Do you have a favorite restaurant or wine bar that you love to go to? And what's your choice of beverage off the menu?
Yes, I would like to visit Hakone Polar Art Museum restaurant. Yeah, it is because I was supposed to go there on August 31st, but actually it was cancelled because of the typhoon. So I was eager to go there with you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It is, in Hakone, and we can see a great view of mountain in Hakone. We can see the beautiful scenery and have some wine or some good meal. I think it is a good lunch menu.
Ah, fantastic. Yeah, that typhoon destroyed many plans for all of us and even stopped the Shinkansen, the bullet trains, didn't it? It was quite a severe one. Ola Art Museum, I have planned to go there many times, but never actually got there.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, I really want to go. So
Uh-huh.
I heard the restaurant does some good social activities as well for the community.
Yes, yeah. When I order a specific lunch menu, I hear that 20 Japanese yen will be donated to a developing country's meal. So I think it is a good social responsibility.
It is. 20 yen
Uh-huh,
doesn't sound like much, but
uh-huh, uh-huh.
it's like, isn't there a proverb in Japanese, Chiri tsumoreba
Ah,
yama tonaru? Is that correct?
yes, yes, yeah. That
So,
kind of concept is very
right?
good.
Even the dust, when it collates together, will form a mountain. 20 yen per person for donation to school lunches is amazing in developed countries. Great. Well, I love that kind of restaurant where you give something as well to the community. Thank you for reminding me about that. And maybe now, as it gets into autumn, it would be a great place to go to.
Uh-huh. Yeah, let's go someday.
That would be fantastic.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's also ask you about your earlier years when you were a child, or maybe even, say, a young adult. Do you remember what you were dreaming about or thinking about for your future at that time?
Actually, I was not thinking of becoming a lawyer because I was brought up in Iwate until I was a high school student. Iwate is an area in northern part of Japan. Actually, it is the same as Shohei Otani, but it is a rather conservative area compared to Tokyo or Osaka, like big cities. So one of my high school teacher told me that it is better to find a good husband rather than going to a good college like that. So I was thinking of becoming a housewife in the future like that. So I do not have a specific dream what I want to do in the future.
I
I couldn't
see.
imagine I could continue a certain work until this middle age.
Wow, it's so interesting, isn't it? How your environment where you grow up has a big influence on you and what people say to you.
Yeah, but I want to go to Tokyo. This is because I choose to go to a college in Tokyo.
Right, I see. And wow, thank you for telling me that Shohei Ohtani, the big baseball player who's making a name for himself in the US at the moment, is from that area. I hadn't realized.
Uh-huh. Yes, yeah.
Oh, so you did study then finally at Tokyo University to do law, and you did your legal training after that and commenced your career around 2000 at Nishimura Asahi. And we know them very well. They're a top four law firm in Japan.
Yes.
I imagine that big law firms are really demanding. How did you manage your work-life balance there?
Yeah. Actually, the work-life balance is not so good, I'm afraid to say. This is because, yeah, we charge our client on a time hour basis. Yeah, so if you long quite a long hours, you can charge a lot to the clients. Yeah, that is one of the system that we are having a hard time concentrate and work until midnight. But yeah, actually, I had three children in Nishimura and Asahi. So,
Wow, you had three children
mhm.
while you worked there?
Yes, yeah. So,
Incredible.
mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, I worked until 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. to avoid such a workload
Oh,
in the midnight.
I see. When
Actually,
there's some,
6 p.m. or
yeah.
7 p.m. it's not so long hours compared to ordinary society, but yeah, for Nishimura and Asahi, it is too early to go home at that time.
Yeah, 6 or 7 p.m. sounds early for a very large law firm, but for you, that was quite early, but well, for you, it might have been quite late, actually. Is that right?
I think so, but
Yeah.
I have to pick up my children from nursery.
Mm,
Yeah, some female lawyers ask their parents or babysitters
mm,
to take care of them. But
right.
it is, yeah, uncomfortable for me to raise my children by seeking much of such help. My parents and my husband's parents live far from Tokyo,
Oh,
so it is not so easy for us to ask for help from our
yes,
parents.
that's right. So, I mean, it just has to be accepted that you will leave earlier to do the pickups and everything that you have to do for your family. Were there some other like fun things that you also did at the firm? Hopefully, it wasn't all work.
Yes, yeah. Nishimura and Asahi provides many good activities. Yeah, I have participated in ski club in winter, and yeah, I also have participated in chorus club. there was a big Christmas party once in a year. So
Oh,
we can do many things. We do
wow.
a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, I think the skiing club and the
Uh-huh,
chorus club, that's amazing.
uh-huh,
I didn't know they had
yeah.
those. Must be good to make you build up your friends or people that you know in the company in the law firm.
Ah, yes, yeah, not only lawyers, but also there are many staffs at Nishimura Asahi.
Oh,
So we have a good time together.
right. Do you still do skiing and sing?
Ah, yes, yeah. Actually, after 20 or more years blank, I started skiing. Yeah.
Oh, great. Do you sing while you ski?
Well, I hope so. Yeah, but I was too concentrating
Yeah,
on skiing, so
can't do
it's so
can't do
hard to
both
do
at
that.
once. Wow. And while you're at the firm, were there some projects or anything that you did that you sort of have lasted with you in your mind as some kind of impact?
Actually, they are very interesting cases because there are many good clients. Nishimura Asahi was one of the greatest law firms, so there are very new cases where many law firms had never done. Or if you do not participate in the special project, you have a chances to hear other lawyers have done. We have a lot of internal seminars within the firm, so you could learn what other lawyers have done as well.
Is there also opportunity for you to step up and to be very vocal or to show yourself in the firm by maybe writing or other things?
Ah, yes, exactly. I participated in some of the writing a book or article in a magazine.
Mm.
And also, I had a chance to do some seminars in front of a big audience. That is very prestigious for me. It is a good chance.
Yeah, and I imagine too that with so many people, there's probably some mentoring that goes on as well. Can you tell me about how mentoring was in the firm?
Yeah, there was a mentoring program. At that time, I was a very junior associate. So there is a mentor and mentee pair. So we had a chance to dine. Well, such mentor or mentee is usually a pair you do not work with. So or we can talk irrespective of our work. And also at the recruitment perspective, I, as a junior associate, would be a pair to the person who will join Nishimura Asahi next year, like that. So
Oh,
we
I
can catch
see.
up with him or her until he joins Nishimura Asahi.
Right, so you were a mentee at one point, but then
Mhm.
later on you become the mentor for other new people.
Ah, yes, exactly. That is a good system, I think.
Yeah. Do you believe in mentoring? Is it a good thing to have? I mean, it's a system, so they paired you with someone, so you almost had to do it. But did you
Mhm,
find as you did it, it was
mhm.
quite a good benefit for you?
Ah, yes, yeah, I think so. It is a good opportunity to know other person. Yeah, usually such persons is not the person you usually work with. So
Hmm.
you can have a different view as to work or any discussion. So
Yeah.
I can talk about myself or other person, yeah, talks about his story or her story. It is very interesting to have some
Yeah,
connection within
I'm
the
sure.
firm.
And you were there for 10 years, right? So,
Yes.
what can you remember as sort of the highs and the lows for you? Maybe there were some good things that came
Mhm.
up, challenges that you overcame.
For good thing, yeah, I wanted to have some expertise in some legal area. I believe I have established such expertise in certain financial law area. That is good for me to have some confidence in my career. Yeah, some people would like to have general perspective in many legal areas, but I prefer to be some expert in some specific area. So that is good for me.
Right.
But
So even
yeah.
in the large law firm, there were people who wanted to have the general expertise over many
Mhm.
subjects, but you wanted one specific area.
Ah, yes, yeah. At that time, I think, yeah, it is a good practice in a law firm to do that. Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
is a good choice for me.
Good. And I'm thinking too, because you said you had three children while you were there. And I didn't
Yeah.
realize you had three children until we started to talk about you coming on the podcast. That's incredible because it's hard enough to raise one child, but three children while you're working. That must have been a real challenge.
Oh, good to hear that. Because, yeah, that is because I am an only child, because my older sister had passed away. So, yeah, I think that having three children is a very new experience to me.
Yeah, I'm sure. And it must have been very challenging. Wow. And perhaps that also impacted you having to raise your three children, that you kind of went to a new phase after that 10 years. You started then to go from private practice to in-house legal counsel role.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'd love to ask you about moving over to in-house legal counsel. What was it that motivated you? I'm assuming it's part of the child raising and the stress of and challenge of being in private practice, but can you help me understand what helped you to be motivated to decide to move from private practice to in-house?
Yeah, I moved to in-house in the year 2010. At that time, some lawyers choose to become an in-house lawyer. So I've heard, yeah, some of the experience. I think it would be a very interesting career, which is very new to legal society. And I think it would be worthwhile because we can closely connect and have a long-term relationship with our own client. Usually, clients choose law firms according to the project. So sometimes we do not have a long-term relationships in private practices. But when you become a member of a company as an in-house legal, you can cultivate a trustworthy relationships more. And also, or you can dive into more in the business perspective. You are not an advisor or consultant, or you are not a third party for the client. You can be responsible for the company's decisions, and you must be responsible for the company's success or financial results like that. I think that it is a very interesting career for me to choose to such an interesting practices.
Yeah, so you talked about being a specialist in financial area when you were at the large firm. And now I imagine, as I had from my experience in-house, you become more generalist. So I guess you had to change or modify your expertise, not only finance area, but other areas as well.
Yes, yeah. I think it is more interesting because, yeah, if we stick to the financial area, my area will not be widened. If I change completely different area, I will be learning more, something like that. And
Right.
yeah, at that time, I have some uncomfortable image about a non-Japanese company, but actually, I first choose a so-called Nippon Elevator Company, which is not a Japanese company. This is a very interesting idea, I thought, because yeah, it is totally different from what I expected, something like that. I
It
would like to,
is.
yeah, have
Yeah,
some new
Nippon
chances.
Nippon Otis Elevator Company is completely different to Nishimura Asahi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So how
Uh,
did you transition? What kind of preparation did you do? What was necessary to transition from private practice to in-house?
First, I thought I have to closely examine some technical terms or some technical issues, but I think that it was not necessary. Although I had gone through some of the books about how the function of elevator machines like that. But yeah, it was totally not significant.
Yeah, the idea is that the people in the business teach you about those things. They help you understand what the workings of an elevator or where it might have its weaknesses or those sorts of things that would impact a contract or the business from a legal perspective. So what
Uh-huh.
else did you do then to prepare?
Well, actually, yeah, I go through some of the companies actual, yeah, some of
Mm.
the other laws which might be related to the business field. But eventually, I found that if we encounter some of the legal issues, the underlying legal concept is always the same. So it is not necessary to prepare so much just to transit from private practice to another company like that.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a little time to change your mindset from private practice lawyer to in-house lawyer. I remember when I started my first in-house legal role, the kacho, the section manager said to me, "Don't be a private practice lawyer. We don't need a private practice lawyer. You have to be in-house lawyer." And I thought, what is that? What does that mean? But it was sort of more understanding the business and getting to blend business and legal together so that you could be a good business lawyer. Also, I found for my situation, Japanese was necessary. But did you find English became more necessary as you did your work?
Yes, it was very, very necessary. I was so surprised, but because I found that many people speak English so fluently, I did not have much chance to hear or speak English, although I have many occasions to write or read English. But
Mm.
for me, participating in conversational English, it's so difficult. So, yeah, I utilized every opportunity I could learn speaking or listening to English. But yeah, I think that we can learn. Yeah, we can learn and develop yourself.
Yeah, so when you started at in-house, maybe you thought in-house was going to be in some kind of form, but it changed a little bit. Did you have any conception or misconceptions about in-house and then how it actually turned out to be?
Yeah, at first, I could not get rid of my stance as a private practice lawyer.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I made a comment to an agreement what I think is right. Yeah,
Mm.
but
Mm.
yeah, many of my comments might be rejected because there is a negotiation with other customers,
Mm.
or yeah, very difficult relationships with the counterparty, something like that. Or even within the company, there might be some reasons my comments are not accepted like that. Yeah,
Mm.
I think that we should pursue. And yeah, legal is
Yes.
only one function. There are many things we should take into, so legal is not always the first priority for businesses.
And I think also the way of speaking with the business people was quite different. Maybe not technical language to try and convey the legal situation, but also make it easy to understand.
Exactly. Yeah, actually, I had many occasions to have presentations within the company or even to some distributors or subcontractors outside the company. So, yeah, I learned how to speak compliance and legal aspects in easy, not only Japanese, but also in English. Sometimes in a
Mm.
very humorous manner, I used
Humorous.
humorous manner.
Oh, how did you do that?
When I had a meeting in the US where many legal functions from Asia, Japan, Europe get together, I made a presentation of Yakuza, which
Oh,
is anti-social forces in
yes,
Japan, which
yes.
is very new to non-Japanese. First I introduced what Yakuza is, something like that. Yeah, it is, some kind of a topic about export control. But
Mm,
yeah, first took an example of Yakuza.
I see. They probably
Uh-huh,
were not expecting that and a little surprised, but maybe found
uh-huh,
some form of humor in that. Yes.
uh-huh. I think so. Humor is always important in business, I think.
I believe so.
Uh-huh,
Humor doesn't mean that you're not serious,
uh-huh,
right?
uh-huh.
It just
Yeah.
adds a little bit of lightness
Uh-huh.
to a serious topic.
Yes, exactly. I think so. It will smoothen the communication ourselves, I
Oh, I love
think.
that you say that because it's something I've always found as one of my secret weapons is to actually use a bit of humor as a lawyer. I think it makes you more approachable and human.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
And seeing the lighter side of a serious topic is actually quite a good thing to be able to do.
Yeah.
Wow. So you did actually stay in house then. So it must have been quite good for you. It was a natural place for you to be rather than private practice because you stayed in-house and you moved to another company.
Yeah, actually, I had a good relationships with business people, so I liked the company very much. Yeah, but it is a subsidiary of a US company. And yeah, some important things are decided to the headquarters level or the Asian headquarters level. So I think that it will be a good opportunity to move to a Japanese company where many group companies exist and Japanese company is a headquarter. So we can have some important decisions, something like that. So I thought it would be a good chance to move to a Japanese company.
I see. And you moved into a different industry again, non-ferrous metal products and resources with minor metals and rare earths. So a completely different industry. So maybe this time you also did a little bit of study on the area, but not too much. But how was that then? You had to oversee the company as a whole, looking after everything. And also you did the LLM from Florida Coastal School of Law, as well as continuing to raise your children. You're not shy of taking on tackles and moving to the next level. So tell me about that role and what happened when you moved in there.
Actually, when I was a college student, some people recommended me that I am suitable for a trading company instead of taking bar exam. I remembered such words because I was told not only one person, but also some person told me I was very suitable for a trading company. So yeah, I moved to a trading company. It is
Yeah,
a good practice to oversee many subsidiaries because yeah, that Alconix Corporation have a lot of mergers and acquisitions, and it is a trading company. There are many foreign subsidiaries, and there are many opportunities to have joint venture or working together with other foreign companies, something like that.
I see.
Yeah.
Why did
Mhm.
these people say that they thought you were suitable for trading company?
I'm not quite sure, but I like communicating with other people and don't afraid of making some new challenges, something like that, I
Maybe
think.
that, and also that the trading company does many different things
Uh-huh.
and many different industries and
Yeah.
sectors, and perhaps you, through raising children and then also tackling an LLM, maybe somehow they saw that you were able to do several things at the same time really well. Perhaps they saw that in you.
Yeah, I
Mm.
think so. Yeah, because when I was a student, I was learning playing the koto, and I got the first prize in Japanese competition when I was a junior high school student. Yeah, from early age, I got used to playing something two or more. And also,
Mm.
I was involved in club activities when I was a high school student or a university student. So it was very natural for me to concentrate on not one thing, but also
Many things.
pursuing several things together.
Yeah, and you still continue to do that now. I know you're so busy in the bar. And also, yeah,
Uh-huh.
continuing your koto and doing other things as well. So I think that's a really great place for you. And you took on this LLM in the US as well, and you did it electronically. Was that right over the internet? A remote course to do that. Tell me about that. Why did you do that?
Yeah. When I was in Nishimura and Asahi, usually an as young associate study abroad for 1 year and have a training in a US law firm. They will spend 2 years in US or other countries. That was at that time very popular career. But for family reasons, I did not enjoy such chance. But I think that it is very important to learn US law because it is so popular when reviewing agreements or doing some transactions. I need some expertise in US laws as well to understand my work quite efficiently. So I learned that there is an e-learning system. So I took such lessons. And
Right.
at that time, yeah, I had gone through elementary school entrance examination for my children. three times, but the last entrance examination has over. So it is a good time for me to
Sure.
have some new chance.
But this is like 15, 16 years later since you did the bar, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
So
Mhm.
quite some time has passed. It reminds me of me I did the first bar in New Zealand and then 15, 16 years later did the UK bar. And even though they're sort of similar jurisdictions, they were quite different. And studying later in life is quite hard,
Yeah, but it is very
but
interesting.
interesting. Yeah. So I think you're saying, even though it might be hard or you still got other challenges, not to let that stop you and to continue to educate yourself and keep learning for your life.
Yeah. I took a Hong Kong bar exam in the year 2021.
Good. Oh, during COVID.
Yeah, during COVID
Oh,
and actually last year. I decided to quit taking the exam, but
mm,
I passed two subjects. Learning Hong Kong law is also interesting. So I think,
very.
we should have more chances to learn foreign laws.
There you go. I didn't know you did that either. So that's great. But I guess it was pretty hard still managing with your family. But did you learn something from doing that, that it was a good experience? Or what did you think? Because maybe some people may not think of challenging themselves to do study as well as with their family. But what would you say to people who are thinking about it?
Ah, yes, yeah. You can make time before the working hours or after the working hours, or you can spend Saturdays on Sundays. I think that if you stop learning, you will not be successful as a lawyer. So I think that learning is some kind of obligation, when pursuing a career as a lawyer. So
Yes.
I think that it should not be taken by exam, but you can learn anything.
Yes, and before we recorded today, you were giving
Mhm.
some tips like life is long and your career, might be long-term based, so you have to have a long-term view of thinking.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, are there any other tips that you would give?
Yeah, I think that serendipity is very
Mm,
important. Yeah,
mm,
it is because, there might be many chances for everyone. Chances will be given suddenly, and sometimes you don't notice. But if you can find any chance, I think that it is very important to catch the chance and utilize that chance. And it will make you change or going to a next stage, something like that. So I think that serendipity is something that we should pursue.
serendipity. I love that word. And I think you did actually capture a chance because you went on to now where you are at Renesas, right? You took another opportunity, and that's where you've been for a little while. And I think you were promoted in April 2024, so just a while ago.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Congratulations. I didn't realize that either. You are being quiet on some things. You should be shouting about your promotion, but I guess you're being a little humble there. But you're now the director, business legal department for
Hmm.
Renesas, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, what were your initial thoughts about taking on this bigger role? How did you prepare
Oh,
yourself for this transition?
yes, yeah. I'm becoming middle age, so yeah, it is. Yeah, so it is important to cultivate new generations. I think that it is some obligations for me to have some young lawyers to develop. So it is a very good opportunity to have such management perspective.
And are you finding that you're part of a team when you make decisions in the company, or are you doing that yourself?
Yeah, sometimes I participated in some of the important decisions. Not only me, but also we have some discussions. Yeah, so I can be proud that I can participate in such decisions. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you're doing both kind of high level, really high level strategic decision making, but also trying to work on the day-to-day matters. So, how do you do that prioritizing of those two things?
Our company adopts work from home system, so we rarely meet even legal or members in person. So I have a one-on-one meeting in a Microsoft Teams on a routine basis. So I will talk to each of the members and hear their conditions, working conditions, and also I will have some comments to their productivity like that. I think
Mm.
that such communication would be very interesting. And yeah, I learned a lot from my subordinates as well.
Based on your experiences, what advice might you give to other lawyers who think they would love to have that kind of director level role that you have? What should they be ready for and try to do to make it an easier job to do or somewhat manageable job?
Mm. Yeah, for management functions, I think that everyone can be a manager or can supervise somebody. Some person might think that I am not suitable for such job or I would like to be a player all the time, something like that. But supervisor does not need to know everything. You do not have to go through every experience because your subordinates are more barrier to me in some point and you can learn and get together. So I think that it is a good practice to work together as a team. Supervisor's role is not only supervising something, but also it is a chance for you to learn from other people's experience as well.
Yeah, I think what I take from what you just said is the supervisor does not need to know everything. So
I
letting,
definitely think so.
yeah, letting go, being a bit more flexible is a really big part of being a director. And I think some people find it a little bit hard to let someone else be doing that work and not know everything, not be in control of everything directly.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, our company adopts work from home systems, so I exactly do not know what they are doing to a specific point, but generally I have some understanding how their workload is, something like that. Micromanagement is not so good, I think. So I would like to trust my subordinates, and if they face some difficulty, I would like to give advice. Yeah, even if I do not know. I can introduce somebody who knows more than I, something like that.
Exactly. That balance of, delegating to someone and letting them know that they are trusted, but also make them feel that they can come to you anytime,
Yeah.
right? And not just left alone, that they can come to you. That balance is very delicate and such a thing to master. Wow, great. Well, you are such a busy mother of three, right? Still, you've got all these hobbies, you said, like I know you're doing skiing, you play koto, and you told me earlier you also do golf and you go running. And I know you're busy in the local bar and you also are a volunteer at Women in Law Japan. Thank you. So, how do you manage your schedule? Can you give the listeners here any tips on how you manage your calendar? It comes up a lot. People ask me a lot, how do you manage your calendar? I'd love to know how you fit these activities in altogether. Can you give us some help how you do that?
Well, I think there is no tip. For me, it is very natural. Yeah, but I want to participate in many occasions, or I would like to communicate many people as possible. So it is very natural for me to do that. I think that if you want to do something very attractive, I think that you can finish the work in very early, something like that. You can make time by doing anything. It seems it is not a good advice, but if you are interested in something, you can do anything, I think.
Interesting. So you're saying if you're interested in it, if you like it, if you want to do it, you can make the time for it.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, I think so.
Oh, so do you put into your calendar, do you block off time for your energy, for your mental health, for these activities, or do you do them after you've finished your work at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day?
Ah, yes, yeah. Before the work, because our company adopts work from home system, we can skip long time commuting. So I can exercise before the work. It is my daily routine. Yeah, for
Right.
example, yeah, I can go to a gym and yeah, I can ride a bike. And
Mm.
also After the work, yeah, I can do other work. I can
Fantastic.
practice golf, go to
Yeah.
a swimming pool. Yeah,
Mhm.
actually, that is my routine. I will do at least two exercises before the work and after the work.
Fantastic. Well,
Mhm.
reflecting back on your in-house career so far, what have you found to be most rewarding for you? And I guess how that compares to the private practice work you did way back at your
Ah,
first stage. So, what
mhm.
is most rewarding about your in-house career?
Yeah, in pursuing an in-house career, I was never called sensei. Yeah, in
Oh,
private practice, you are called sensei. That means an advisor or you respect, but you are just called by your name. It means that you are not respected in a company, but you are a member of the company, not an advisor or third party. You are a team member and you are responsible to the company's growth or the company's success. I think it is very rewarding for me. Yeah, because we are teammates, we can learn together, and yeah, sometimes we can participate in company events. And yeah, not only from legal perspective, but also, for example, how to increase the employee engagement or some of the company activities like that. That is very interesting as a teammates.
yeah, teammate rather than the title.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
do love that. I mean, who cares if you're called sensei or not? You know what you are and they know, but not giving you that title means that you can easily be part of the jigsaw, the part of the team. That's a really good reflection.
uh-huh.
What are the key skills then that lawyers you think need to be successful to be the in-house legal counsel? What kinds of skills?
Yeah, I think that both private practice lawyers might have, but I think that very important aspect is communication skill, because you have to communicate with many functions, including company management or other salespersons or HR, accounting. Sometimes you have to have some communication with the customers of your company or a person who complains to your company or yeah, some of the distributors or subcontractors or yeah, your headquarters people or affiliates. So different type of communication might exist, not only in Japanese but also or non-Japanese. I think that yeah, some cultural difference might exist compared to yeah, private practice lawyers. So yeah, I think yeah, you have to communicate a lot. So communication skill is very important.
Anything else that you need
Mhm.
as a skill?
The second one is I think that adaptability is also important. It is because legal function is only one function to the company. Legal must assist business of the company. So sometimes you want to stick to your own idea, but from a holistic approach, it is not just good to stick to your idea just because it is considered legally right. Sometimes you have to compromise considering the risks. I think that you can have such adaptability to be successful in a company.
Right, so accepting risks is also probably a
Mhm.
skill that you need as well.
It is very significant risk we shouldn't avoid. I think that in no event you must stop the transactions or you have to object the idea. But if you consider some risks are acceptable, considering pursuing the business, I think that you can change your idea and compromise to something. That sense must be cultivated by having some experiences, I think.
Mm.
So, as an in house lawyer, you can have such experiences, I think.
Well, you've worked in this legal industry for a long time now as a lawyer. How's it changed for women, perhaps, since you started? And do you think there's more that has to be done? Tell us a bit more about that.
I'm very glad to see many women, especially in legal area, have brilliant career in their lives. Yeah, there are so many female lawyers, especially in Japan. So I think it is a very good example. Yeah, and I hope to be one of these.
I think you already are, Yuko.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. One thing that I have to keep in mind that the speed is not so rapid in Japan. Yeah, I think that it is gradually increasing, but not enough. I think that many women should have more brilliant career in a very rapid way, I think, compared to other countries.
Thank you for that. Well, let me ask you one big question. If you were to go back in time to the start of your career, is there any advice that you would give yourself based on what you know? So if Yuko is standing in front of you 16, 15, 14 years ago, Yuko, maybe a bit more, what would you say to her? The advice that you would
Wow.
give to you when you were younger?
It is a very difficult question, but the career is long, especially for women. For some years, you cannot concentrate on much because of your family reasons and you cannot spare much time for work. In that case, you might think you are left behind from other persons, but I think that in the long run, you can catch up with the others. So, yeah, do not be afraid of taking some private time or spending family time like that. You should not be in a hurry. I think that you can have a long-term career and yeah, you can adapt the changes of the environment.
I love that. Wonderful. How about then, as we move towards the end of the podcast, some tips maybe for lawyers who are coming up the ranks, right, in the future of law? Any advice you might give to someone who wants a job just like you?
Yeah, if you are interested in some certain area, I think that you should pursue such a area. The world is changing rapidly,
Mm,
so yeah, you can catch up with the changes. Yeah, I hear that opportunities goddess has only here in front, so I think that you should not be afraid of taking the chances. You have some delay in catching the chances, the chances will never come. So I think that you should have such courage to challenge everything you want.
great. And from where you are now, what are you thinking about that you would like to achieve in your future career? Maybe you've got a
Ah,
dream for your role or a dream that you think about for the future of law.
I think I should educate more to inspire or to lead to a particular direction to a young people. Yeah, because yeah, I'm in the latter stage of my life. So it is some kind of obligation for us to educate or inspire young persons. They are the next generation who leads the legal society. So I think that we are responsible for raising these type of people, I think.
Wonderful. Let's head into the end of the podcast. I usually ask a few quick fire questions to wind up. So, the first question is if you could live anywhere in the world that was not Japan, where would you like to live?
Well, oh, that is a very difficult question.
Is it
Yeah,
difficult?
yeah, difficult question, but yeah, I would like to live in the US. Yeah, because yeah, I think it is a very challenging society, and I missed the chance of studying abroad in the US. So yeah, if I have a chance to study or have chances to work, I would like to choose the US
Oh,
because yeah, we can have chances in the US,
oh.
I think.
Any particular part of the US?
Well, I'm not so quite sure, but the West Coast or East
West Coast.
Coast,
Yeah.
whichever is okay for me.
Okay, so what is your favorite saying or kotowaza in Japanese? Yeah.
As I said in the previous question, I think that chance no megami wa maegami shikanai. Yeah, the opportunities goddess has only here in front. So yeah, you should be very careful in acquiring the chances, I think the opportunity to participate in this podcast would be one of the such thing. Yeah, I have
Yes.
never imagined I would talk in this podcast. So, but I think it was very hard for me, but I chose to be one of the guests. So yeah, thank
Yes.
you for giving me such
Thank you for
chances.
saying yes. And it's such an important thing is that people consider they may not be suitable as a guest, but if I select you, it means
Uh-huh.
I know you're going to be a good guest.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, so have faith. I really love that kotowaza, that expression, the opportunities goddess has
Mhm.
only got hair in front. I have to
Uh-huh.
research that a bit more, what it means exactly, because no hair in the back.
Yeah, no hair in the back. Uh-huh.
So not looking backwards, but only looking forwards.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Maybe.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I've got another question for you.
Yes.
If you were going to write a book, what would you write that book about?
Yes, yeah. Usually for a lawyer, I think that how to be successful in
Hmm.
in-house lawyer, but I think that I would write a book about exercise because I like exercise. And if you have some physical strengths, I think that you can encounter everything. So I would like to write a book about how to recommend everyone about exercising.
Brilliant. I don't know if there's a lawyer who's written a book about exercise. You could do that and be the first
Uh-huh.
one. Woo.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I would like to.
If you had an opportunity to spend one day with somebody, anybody famous or not famous who is like living or passed away, who would that be?
It is a very difficult
Big
question.
question.
Big question, yeah. But I'd like to stay one day with my deceased elder sister. This is
Oh,
my dream.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Actually,
Oh,
I brought up as an only child. I have never seen my elder sister. So yeah, if I have a chance, yeah, I would like to spend with her and how the relationship with my sister, I would like to acknowledge.
yeah, I'm sure she's watching over you. Last question is, you've told us a lot about yourself and your hobbies, but is there something about you that people don't know? Is there something that you haven't told us that people may not know about you?
Yeah, I am having a new hobby
Yes.
that is aquabics. Yeah, I'm not so good at doing such an exercise, but it is very interesting for me. So I would like to
Wow.
develop, some kind of skills so I can show
Good.
to other people.
Brilliant. So that's
Uh-huh,
doing exercise in the pool, swimming pool.
uh-huh. Yeah,
Wow.
yes, exactly.
Wow, fantastic. Well, thank you, Yuko. We've come to the end. I really appreciate you saying yes to coming on the show and sharing your amazing answers for how to pivot from being private practice to in-house and how you can be a really great in-house lawyer. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Wonderful day today. Yeah.
Yeah, so if listeners would love to get in touch with you, can they do that through LinkedIn? Is that a good way?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thanks so much. We'll put your link to your
Uh-huh.
LinkedIn profile in the show notes. So, for listeners who are listening to this episode, please do subscribe to Lawyer on Air. Please share this episode with someone you think would maybe they're thinking about pivoting from private practice to in-house, or they're an in-house lawyer who could really benefit from listening from what Yuko has said. Please do that and leave us a review so that people can hear and see more about us in the future as well. That's all for now. See you on the next episode. Cheers, kampai, and bye for now. Thank you so much for listening today to this episode of Lawyer on Air. I really hope that you were inspired by the story you heard and that you discovered something new about women in the law. Please subscribe to the show so that you don't miss future episodes. And if you can think of even just one person to share this episode with, that would make my day. I invite you to connect with me to talk more. Jump on over to LinkedIn or Instagram where you can find me, or send me a message via my website contact page. That's all from me today. I look forward to seeing you right here on the next episode of Lawyer on Air. Cheers, kampai, and bye for now.